Coming up, some Aussie success on the world stage. The Junior Worlds team has been announced, and we're going to tell you who our Aussie representatives are. What can these kids and parents expect from Venice? The points have also been allocated after the results from Oceania Championships. How does this change the landscape of the world rankings for our senior athletes? And what is the plan of action moving forward? All of that follows after our talented friend, Good Fortune. Welcome back to the Kaizen Culture Pod, where we are keeping the conversation moving within Australian karate. My name is Mitchell Durham, here with John Stainer and Nathan Blockley. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We're also watchable over on YouTube. If you could, please give the podcast a rating if you're enjoying the content. And as always, please let us know your thoughts and opinions and anything you'd like us to chat about by sending us an email at kaizenculture.info@gmail.com, or even sign up to our mailing list on our website, kaizenculture.org. Now, I had to really hold in that laugh there because I wanted to get the intro in, but we finally got the the appearance of the triangle.
Thank you, Beck, for
another gift.
That was said with a bit of soul, wasn't it?
Another gift.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
I'm seeing her this weekend at the tournament, so
yeah. At least we can put the triangle to rest now, and we'll have to post it up on the wall or something to finally put it to bed.
Really? I think we should keep... No, I'm kidding. Yeah, let's put it to bed.
The people love it.
I think it's finished. People can stop asking me questions about it. People have been asking me, when is it coming?
Yeah.
Crazy. So much pressure.
Yeah, too much, obviously.
Yeah, it's done now. How did it feel?
Not good. Wasn't very liberating. The triangle I've been practicing on is a bit different. It's hard when you change equipment like that.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's you're definitely put on the spot.
All right. As we said from the intro, we had some Australian success at the world stage. Literally recording this on Friday. So last night I was watching Lourensz at the youth league in Coruna in Spain. I think I was up at like 1 o'clock, and so worth it because she fought so well. She won her pool, made it to the semi-final, unfortunately lost it there, and then was fighting for bronze. And I believe it was Singapore she ended up losing to. Is that right, Nath?
Poland. Oh, was it Singapore? I just saw the flag.
Oh, okay. Very similar flags.
Yeah, very similar. I think it was. I think it is Singapore, yeah.
But she had a tough pool. I think she first ranked 63 first, and her ranking's 80-something. So she's coming into it fresh. But I think at that stage, it's all pretty clean slate at that stage, unless you're doing youth leagues regularly. But you don't know who you can get. It's a lot of Italy, a lot of Spain in that draw, Greece.
How many Italians were at the tournament?
I think there was like 350 entries from Italy.
Just from Italy?
Just from Italy.
Whoa.
That's straight up like a national championships. That's a state team, right? That's the Victorian state team. Just went to the youth league. That is insane.
Must have run out of pasta there or something.
But watching Ali last night, I've seen her compete for the last year or so now, and she just every match grew in confidence. Looked like she had a simple game plan where she was just moving, picking the timing off. Her punches were flying, and with every technique she threw, the referees loved her and just kept scoring her points, kept scoring her points.
She's always been like so clean with her techniques, and the referees love that. So,
especially at the world stage, I think sometimes athletes get there and they're like, oh, it's not scoring. And so if you've got that clean technique, you can, with the confidence you build, you've got the basics to get it right.
Yeah. It was actually crazy. I think in the pool final against Spain,
Italy, I think.
Italy?
Yeah.
Was it Italy, Spain, Italy? Yeah. She was up like 4, so it was 4-1. So she had a bit of that buffer of confidence, and she was just throwing anticipation hook kicks, trying to get them in, and she looked so comfortable. And I can't wait to see what she does for the rest. She's on a big tour at the moment. She's going back to training in Turkey.
Cool.
With OK Arpa, and then doing Casablanca, hopefully, and then back to Turkey again. I think she's away for like 5 weeks.
I mean, that's a strong case to get into the Premier League, getting 5th at the Youth League. I don't know how many points she's going to, because they do convert, don't they?
I think registration for the Premier League is done now. So she's on the wait list.
Oh, gotcha. So she's waiting for that chance that some of the top 32 don't enter and she'll be selected. Do you know what she's ranked? Straight off the bat. It's on sheet, isn't it?
She's in the seniors. It's like 680 or is it 82? 83?
82. Oh. I mean, it's happened before.
Yeah.
It's pretty unlikely, to be fair, but
hopefully. It's not unlikely because the Series A in Turkey 2022, when a couple of Aussies were on the tour with me, a few of us missed registration, myself included. And we were just going along, just because we were all a part of this big trip. We're just rolling the dice to see if people drop out and see if we can get registered. And on the last day, we managed to squeeze in like 5 athletes. So it's possible.
All right.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for her then.
Yeah. And her ranking might be higher. Has that been updated since yesterday?
Well, we'll see on Monday when the rankings settle in after this weekend. But
there is transition points between this, or not?
There was some. I can't remember how it works.
Yeah, we'll have a look.
We had a good podcast on it earlier, I think.
Gotta check the archives on that.
How'd she go in that first fight? The 0-0 one.
It was tense. But she was dominant. The Italian just maybe threw 2 techniques.
Yeah, right.
One of them looked pretty like threatening, and then there was some kicks. But Ali was just moving and pressing and like putting the pressure on, trying to score. Her scoring potential was high, but some of them just didn't land.
Yeah.
A couple of kicks, I thought from the stream, maybe it was just because it was 1 o'clock in the morning and I was just excited to score some points.
You're slightly biased. Yeah.
No way. I'm never biased.
You were going for them both equally. I don't care who wins here.
No, a little bit of bias, but she grew in confidence maybe within the first minute and a half, and she convincingly won on Hunter.
And then she went into the next round winning 8-1. So, I mean, not scoring in the first, but 8-1.
Wow.
Did the post this morning.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of the start of her trip. So what a way to start it off and then just keep going from there.
It's going to be good. And it leads into her Junior Worlds prep so nicely for the end of the year.
It's not going to hurt the confidence.
No way. And that's, I actually, for some reason, thought that she wasn't selected for the World Championships because I thought she was too old. But she's 19. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, well done, Ali. And we can't wait to follow you through the next few weeks, see how you go. Hopefully I get to see you and compete in Casablanca. That'll be cool. But we'll start going through our Junior Worlds selection or team announcement. I think it was pretty exciting. We've had some decent experience within the under-21 group, obviously starting with Ali, Series A and Youth League performances. You've got Iris and Crystal. Do you want to read them out?
Yeah, I feel like we read them out.
Sure.
I'll say on Ali as well.
Yeah.
Well done for just going there as well. You know, it's a hard tournament to make it there financially and time-wise and all that. She's the only Australian who did, and it's paying off for her. Like, this will be so crucial in her lead up to Worlds. So really happy that she's made this step and putting herself in this position to have this sort of result. So well done. And yeah, Ali for the under 55, under 21.
Do we want to go through from cadets?
Yeah, just
list them off?
Just list them off.
All right, so I'm not going to say the division. I'm just going to name them. So we've got Erica Lowe, Hayden Pengiran Maru, Lucy Choi Lourensz, Lucy Maggio. 2 Lucys in a team. Crazy.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know too many Lucys.
Wow.
Is that a AKF first, 2 Lucy's?
Maybe.
We need that. Do you know
We need those facts.
AFL useless stats?
Yeah. How many times have
Karate useless stats.
double name? You want to start that? Anyone want to start a Karate useless stats page?
Hey, if you do, we're all up for you to start it. Take lead on that and we'll support you.
Okay. Gemma Reid, Tatum Heber, Liam Johnson, Danny Wiriasada, Angus Wiriasada, Regis Ukperaj, Jason Pogkus, Emily Newen, Kento Oiwa, Sophia Innes, Jada Gledhill, Danica Starkey, Mia Vrumans, Jack Stosius, Kane Heber, James Simone, Hudson Maggio, Aidan McDougall, Tara Boyd, Dylan Fisher, Mia Heron, Ali Lourensz, Iris Webb, Crystal Boyce, Kiri Sundin, Thomas Kearns, Stephen Cameron, Leonardo Rizcala, and Willem Heiber.
That is such a talented team going over.
You know what I noticed? It's the team of siblings.
Yeah, very true.
We've got 3 Heibers.
Three Heibers?
Yep, Willem, Tatum, and Kane. You've got 2 Wiryasadas. We've got 2 Maggios. Got who else we got? I think that's it. Is that right? Yeah. But regardless, this seems like a really, really cool team and amazing experience. Like I was saying before, with the under-21s, I feel like the under-21s play such an important role in setting the tone for the juniors and cadets, leading them, being the sort of benchmark in terms of how you act and how you present yourself on the tournament. And if you have good leaders like that, it really sets you up for a good championships. And then you got Iris and Crystal who have competed at the World Combat Games last year. Ali from the Series A and Youth League. You've got Willem who's on the senior men's worlds team. Who else have you got? You got Tara and Dylan who are pretty experienced seniors. A lot of them have done a junior worlds before. I think 11 of them, it's their second World Championships. So it's good to see that maybe they can run it back and have a bit more confidence and ease into this one.
Yeah, I mean, they've been there before, you know, and then they're returning to the world stage. And as you said, some of them have done international competitions in the meantime. So, yeah, I think it'll be very exciting come October.
Yep.
It's great to have such a high number going a second time. And then, like you were saying, on the under-21s, for some of them, it might be their first chance at, like, team leadership. There's no senior athletes. They are now the senior athletes in that team. So I think that's really exciting to see who and what emerges from that. And having such an experienced team is always a good thing to help even the guys who are going for the first time can feel a bit more settled around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be good. And I hope that everyone would realise, that the World Championships is the highest level of competition for this age group. But this is really the toughest competition that they'll face. Like, seriously, they've got to be coming in prepared and ready for the best in the world, because these athletes over in Europe and Africa and Asia, they're competing regularly on the youth league stage, and some of them are already competing as seniors in Series A's. So they're well experienced and ready to take medals there. So you've just got to go out there and put it on the line. Like, I don't want to say that cheesy thing and just give it your best, but you've got to be ready for the best in the world, you know?
Yeah. It's not the time to hold back in that sense. But I think you also want to go there without that pressure, in the sense of you've done the work, you've been selected, you've earned the spot, and have that confidence at the same time, because that will help you not hold back. But what an experience.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing, that you have earned this spot, and it's not an easy spot to earn. I think 3 of the athletes going over did fight-offs at the Oz Open as well. So I believe it was Kane Heiber,
Liam Johnson.
Liam Johnson and Aidan McDougall all fought off to get this spot, past just being the best in your division over the last couple of years. So there's some really talented kids going for these spots, and they've earned them. So they deserve to be going to Worlds, and they can perform. They've got the capabilities to perform on this level.
Yeah. No, it's I don't think this young group is short of any confidence. That's for sure. It's I can just feel it. Like, I don't know whether it's different or I've got a different perspective, but I don't think I was like that when I was their age.
No,
I don't think so.
What, as in, do you reckon they've got that dog in them?
I just think that they've got this sense of confidence, and they're just like, I don't care who's in front of me. I'll fight and take it up to them, which is so good to see, because you need it. You need that sort of sense of belief, like you were saying, just to go out there and give it a red hot crack. I think the main thing I was sort of talking about in terms of the expectation is more so for parents. Because I do know that from the last Junior World Championships, it was a bit of I'm not saying for everyone, but can be a shock sometimes when you just compete at Australian Open and national level, and that's all you sort of see. Maybe some parents don't watch the youth leagues or the highest level, so they're thinking, okay, this is probably a lot of other countries are the same boat as my child. They're the best in their country.
No.
And then it's like, it can be a bit of a shock sometimes for parents to go, oh my God, this is, and when you're going over there with the expectation my child's going to hopefully win, it's pretty daunting sometimes. We haven't had the greatest track record. We've had some success though. I mean, like Kento got the bronze medal at the World Championships last year. Sorry, 2 years ago. So we've had success recently now, and some decent rounds come through. And but yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this is the highest level of competition.
It is difficult. Like it's, athletes will go over and have gone over and just you're out first round, and that you've based your whole year on that, and that can be really like blindsiding. You're just like all of a sudden, wow, my child's out. You feel for them, but it is what it is. It is the best level competition, and you want to be amongst those people. So I guess expectation setting is really important
for sure
for those athletes.
And in the past, there have been athletes who have gone over, expected big things, got out first round, and it just destroys their confidence. And it shouldn't, because very few go straight to the top. Most have to make that grind from the bottom upwards, and this is the starting point. It's going over, saying, all right, this is the level, this is where I need to be, and then working towards that. And I feel like a good way to prepare for this sort of thing is watch the youth leagues, because these are the athletes that you'll be versing, especially the medal rounds. Go watch them, see what quality is out there, so you're expecting that going into it.
Yeah, it's I think coming from Australia and competing from far behind, like, because we are at a significant disadvantage. Let's just call it as it is. I think we've all got to have this sort of mindset of like it's going to take some time and a few bites of the cherry. There are a few anomalies where, like you said, people go straight to the top and they just find success straight away. But this is a case where we have to grind it out, and we need to have multiple goes at it and spend years going at this, because success like this doesn't happen overnight or over a span of 1 year or maybe even 2 years. Or 5 years. So yeah, like the fact that these kids now are having another go at it, and they get another crack again in 2 years, and maybe they can push the seniors and try and get a senior spot. Like, it's just going to take time, and just keep being resilient,
So when was your first Junior Worlds?
2015, I went as a junior.
Yeah.
2017, went as an under-21. Yeah.
So 9 years ago was your first Junior Worlds.
Yeah.
And then results-wise, the Premier League last year.
Yep.
So that's 8 years after your first Worlds that you really cemented your spot.
Yeah.
Amongst that top. So that is a grind. That's an 8-year grind.
Yeah.
And it's a lifestyle. You wouldn't regret anything off that journey, but you got to commit to it, and you will find that success in the future. You can't just expect success really early on,
No, it was actually pretty crazy, because I sort of 2015, I was going through year 12 exams that year. So I did my ATAR. I was pretty lucky with my exam schedule. All of it was before the World Championships. I finished my last maths exam and went straight to the airport, straight to Jakarta, and went to the World Championships. So I think it helped a lot with terms of like balancing my expectation for the World Championships, because I was just so focused on school. I was always going to train. Training was this time, so I just squeezed in my studying, trained around that, and sort of had my two minds focused on both. I don't think if I maybe didn't do studying or didn't do year 12 ATAR exams, maybe my mind would have been like so focused on the World Championships. But I didn't feel that sort of that expectation of like, oh, I'm gonna win, or I think I just knew from the get go that like this is gonna be tough, but I'm trying to be competitive. But yeah, it was a big eye opener for me to go over there and go like,
go in there with confidence, but don't go in there with expectation.
Yeah, you have to go for it. But just in the long run, it's a stepping stone. It's a chance to learn. And if you get more than that, then awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, seeing this, like I was saying before, seeing this group of young talent, like they're in such a good position for success. And just like reflecting on my time, I think that these kids are leaps and bounds in front of where I was personally at that age or at their level.
It's the highest quality Australian Open that I've seen, I think, ever amongst these divisions. Like Kata, Kumite, both of them, there's just such talent. I do agree. Like looking at the divisions, it's like, one, how many are in each division and you got to be the best of, and two, you put yourself back in time and say, God, if I was in that division, how would I have fared? And God, there would have been some competition in those divisions. Holy.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll just quickly do a little mention for the coaches going over as well. So we've got 5 coaches, 1 kata, 4 kumite. Sensei Matt Johnson is the lead kumite coach for this one. I'm pretty sure he's the lead he's the head coach for the junior division for the national team. So that makes sense. Sensei Nori is for kata. Sensei Pete Hollywood, which is for kumite. Sorry, I blanked out for a second there. Sensei Wayne Noble and Sensei Mike Panossian. So are great coaches for the youth. I think they're amazing with the kids. They've been working pretty hard this year on getting that connectiveness with the squad. They've had a couple of training camps together just on their own. And just looking at them from the Aussie Open training camp, Monday, Tuesday, just the unity as a junior squad looks amazing. And I can imagine that's from that coaching group, just really trying to push that.
Yeah, a talented squad of coaches going over with a talented squad of athletes. So Australia's, I'm really excited. I think Australia's in really good stead for the end of the year, both junior and senior.
Yep.
So it's good to say that Australia's probably in the best position that we have been in.
It's really exciting, especially when you're looking at the juniors, because that's going to carry through for 10 years now. You hope that they stick around, and then there's more juniors to model off that. This could be the start of something, just building and building. With these guys become seniors and knock you off later, Mitch, and then the next round of juniors. I just keep coming, and they've got something to. It's always easier once someone's burnt the trail for you in that sense, to follow along and just get to that level a bit more quickly, because the level's here in Australia.
And that's probably why you're saying that this junior group coming up are such talented kids, is they've been modelling the seniors that are currently competing, and they think the level is much higher than maybe you thought when you were younger. So that drives their motivation, that drives their commitment, and they're demonstrating it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we have to get one of the younger ones on here to be interviewed, see what they think about the landscape of karate. But
how about this? If you win a medal at Junior Worlds, you get on the podcast.
I think that's a given for sure.
Yeah,
you get Mitch's seat.
Yeah, sit in the hot seat.
So they'll be really pushing now. Like the medal's good, but a spot on the podcast.
I think that's more incentive. They weren't actually thinking about getting a medal.
I'll let you have a go with the triangle as well, and then
wow,
that's
huge.
That's huge.
That is massive. If you're not actually going to get a medal now, questioning your integrity. All right, I think anything else you want to talk about with the Junior Worlds team or anything around that?
No, we've inflated their egos enough, I think.
Should we take a short break?
You needed to recover from this segment?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We'll come back in a sec. Okay, we're back from the break, and Nathan would really love to run through the rankings for the seniors after the Oceania sort of dust being settled. I think it's some hot topics here.
Very hot topics. And I'd like to say from the get-go, I'm going to say that some athletes aren't in the best position now.
Really?
That's not against the athletes. Like, they've earned their spot in the rankings through the Oceania. But as a continent, I feel like we're quite disadvantaged with how many points we got, and that's already been scaled down. Like we used to get more points for Oceania, and the WK have said, nah, they're getting too much. We're going to scale it down to a category 5 or something tournament.
It's the same category. The thing is that we just don't get as many ranking points because of rounds 1.
Gotcha.
So I think you get more points for round 1. We
Yeah.
only have like 2
And we
rounds.
can only get one person who gets ranking points. And
That was the main cut.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing, because
I agree.
it's a bit rough, multiple people getting points when there's only a couple of people in these divisions. So I'll kick it off by just reading the full list of athletes that. Oh well, it's just ranking points, eh?
There's
So
no order here.
There's no
I just
selection here.
I just went through the divisions that popped up, and anything that was interesting, I wrote them down with the if you're either got selected for the 2 spots or you're like, I've put Christina Maher in there because she's Christina Maher.
So but I'll be talking mostly on the current Premier League ranking compared to the world ranking. They're different. Do you want to just quickly identify the difference between those?
I will. The new ranking there's for the new World Championships, right? They've changed, I don't know why, the ranking system. So they've got the general world ranking, which is the one for how it always is, and that includes everything, every event that you get points for. That's just your world ranking. Your individual world senior championship standing is something separate, and this is how they work out the ranking for world championships, or the selection spots, the qualification spots for next year's senior worlds. And that includes events listed here. The World Championships from last year, the current, every Premier League since then, and every Continental Championship since then. So there's no Series A's included in that, and no Premier Leagues before the World Championships last year. So I think they're just having a clean slate of ranking from that, but I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. Like,
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like it's so bad. Like, what are the WKF doing when if you have a ranking system that's not fit for your world championships? It makes no sense. There's something wrong with how that's all been put together. Like, I can't imagine tennis or soccer doing this and saying, like, here's the ranking, but here's this other. And they've nicely abbreviated it to like 6 or 5 letters, IWSCH.
IWSCH standing.
It's really confusing. I think from a spectator point of view, you're like, what is this? What is that? It doesn't make any sense. It should just be one system, but it's not. So I guess we have to talk about it.
Yeah. And when Billy Brennan does the pools for the Premier Leagues, you've got both 2 rankings, and even me, when I first saw it for the first time, I was like, which one's which? Like, why are there 2 numbers? Why are they so different?
Well, because they've got the Premier League standing as well. So you've got your ranking, and then you've got different standings. So you've got the World Championship standing, you've got the Premier League
you've got
standing.
like 3 number 1s in the world at the same time. Like, who's...
Yeah. Would you argue...
That's not spectator friendly at all.
No.
But would you argue that it's similar to like boxing, how you've got different leagues and different championships and different titles?
I'd argue you don't want to be like boxing.
Yeah, true.
Like, their leagues and titles are so confusing, and it's just a mess of like different federations.
Because like you said, there's like 3 world champions, 4 world champions, or number 1s.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Isn't there something in boxing where you can't go to the Olympics if you're a pro boxer? You have to be an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
Well, how's that? You'd be Olympic gold, but not be a professional boxer.
I think a lot of sports are like that. Like in soccer, you can only have like 2 or 3 players over the age of 21. And
True.
Or something that, there's a lot of sports. Because if they're highly professional, like a
Olympics
lot of sports
is meant to be like the best of the best.
Well, it's actually...
Why limit that?
It's actually not. Like, Olympics is meant to be the highlight of amateur sport. Or not amateur sport, but...
there is some consideration about if your sport's super professional.
Anyway,
okay,
we'll leave Olympic chat for later.
So I'm going to read out
that next.
Yeah, I'm going to read out the athletes that are now in the top 32 first. All right, so we've got Holly Wigg is 32 from New Zealand. We've got...
I just put Holly in there. I know she's from New Zealand, but I just thought it was interesting that she's bang on 32. So
snuck in.
Just for Carter, by the way.
Yeah, and she's still our continental region.
Yep.
We give respect to New Zealand, of course. Mitchell. He's joking, guys. Georgia.
I wasn't shaking my head at all. I was agreeing.
No.
Sorry.
The rivalry's a little bit over now. You guys won.
Okay, all right, keep going.
All right, so we've got Georgie Lourensz, now ranked 23. We've got Mandy Yap, 21. We've got Hannah, 16. Rory just missed it. He's at 33. and you are 11, Mitchell, Durham, and Daniel Tierlin is now 16. So you got Daniel, Mitch, it's hard to read through this list, Hannah, Georgie, and Holly.
And Mandy.
Yeah. So I feel like there are some athletes in that top 32 that don't want to be in that top 32. Because if you're in the top 32, you can't do Series A tournaments. So you are straight up to the Premier League. And I'll take Georgie, for example. She did a Premier League earlier this year in Paris, and she did really well in a Series A last year as well. So she's definitely feeling like she belongs on this stage, the Premier League stage. But I'm sure a part of her is also thinking, God, I would have loved to enter a few more Series A's, maybe got a medal, maybe won, really build that experience. And she's only 20. Like, she is young. She's got years and years to be on the Premier League circuit and be competing at this level. Why wouldn't you build your why wouldn't you want to build your foundation on these Series A tournaments? You know, the quality is still exceptional. There is like 120 athletes in each event. You know, Premier Leagues, I guess you're guaranteed 2 or 3 fights, which is always a solid argument to wanting to be in the Premier League. But so Georgie's competitive on that, but there's if you feel like you're only just going to the world stage and you get thrown on the Premier League just because you won Oceania, where there's like 4 athletes, I feel like that's pretty tough as a continental region.
Yeah.
You know,
it is tough.
Yeah, I mean, for example, Dylan Fisher, exceptional kata athlete. He's currently ranked 106 because he didn't get points for the Oceania and went to Sean. Now, if Dylan did win, he did win. If he did get the points for it, maybe he would be in the top 32. Has he done a Series A yet? No. Would he want to do a Series? 100%, you know? Build that experience, build that foundation. So I think as a continent, we're in a rough spot. You know,
it depends where you are in terms of your own development, your own goals at the time being. I think if the more Series A's you can do as an Australian, the better. And if you get pushed into the Premier League, fine, fair enough. Like that's just what you have to do. That's the situation you're in.
Yeah.
But if you can do more Series A's, get around.
Yeah. So I'm just like I said this, but I didn't say it on the podcast. But before the Oceania, when the ranking points came out, like who's getting the points, I thought to myself, God, if I was in their position, I wouldn't want the points. Like it's some of these athletes, I wouldn't want the points because it limits me from doing the Series A's, and therefore I can't build this foundation. I'm just thrown on to the biggest stage in the world.
We've got a few in the 30s, 40s, which I think are in a great spot because they're like you're close, and so if you go to a Series A and do well, you'll probably move up into the Premier League. But then you've also like gone to a Series A and done well, so you're like, okay, tick that box.
I think that's what Georgie did. So she did, in Canada, Montreal, Vancouver.
Yeah.
She had a placing there and she got through some fights and arguably belongs there, like for sure. And you can see that with the way she fought. So in her mind, she's like, I'm ready for this Premier League stage.
Absolutely.
But why rush it?
She probably still wouldn't mind being able to do both if it was an option, you know?
Everybody would love to.
Because you're right, you can both. At 40, ranked 40 or whatever, you can do a Premier League. And most of the time you get in.
Yeah.
You know, it's
do you reckon that's a bit harder this year with the Worlds?
I think with the intention for people trying to get ranking points for the World Championships next year, yes, it is tough. Maybe now you could see after the Europeans and the Pan Americans are next weekend or something like that, the representation might not be there with the numbers, but still tough for people chasing points.
That's actually a great point, though. I don't think I've actually thought about being in the 40s, being able to do both because of that wait list. For example, Yoni, you can't argue that Yoni couldn't compete on a Premier League stage because he got 7th at Worlds last year, but he would definitely be wanting to do some Series A's, and he's currently ranked 41. So that means he can go in a Series A, and chances are if he wanted to do Casablanca, that he could, you know, sign up for it and get selected for that because of, you know, some of the top 32 not competing in that tournament. So I feel like you're right, being in that 40-odd position is ideal. I mean, Sean Sean is currently 43, so he can do Series A's. If he won, would he be under 32? Maybe, which means he wouldn't be able to do Series A's, which means he wouldn't be able to get that experience. And that sucks.
It's rough for Carter as well.
So rough.
He's previously been locked into the Premier Leagues.
I think he was.
He was, yeah. So he might be liking the fact he can do some Series A's and still maybe be an option for the Premier
And then
League.
at the end of the day, what was the Series A that him and Ahmed did recently? Larnaca, yeah. So they both got out first round. I know Sean wasn't feeling his best because of sickness.
I think they all got food poisoning.
Yeah. Not a great lead up to a tournament, put it that way.
No.
Don't eat oysters.
Yeah.
You'd be thinking about that twice and you keep it actually, shake it actually for sure.
Is that the most vivid
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's not think about whether that's happened or not in the past.
It definitely has happened, surely. Could you imagine? Within all of karate, someone has gone number 2 on the mat. You gotta, it's not...
I reckon more likely commentate if you got knocked out or something.
Oh, the body relaxes.
Yeah.
I think that'd be far more embarrassing than the actual knockout.
At least you weren't there to like see the reaction, I guess.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, anyway, let's not think
Did you get a
about
contact warning?
Anyway, guys, let's pull it back to topic, please. Jeez.
Sorry, that was a shit conversation.
Nice work.
That's the dad coming out,
Yeah.
isn't it, John? Okay, so as I was saying, with Larnaca Series A, there was 128 in the division, and they didn't get through a round. You want to be at that stage competing so you can prove yourself on the Series A before you get thrown into the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
the context of that is that 128 at best is like 33 in the world to 150 something in the world. That's a huge difference between that and first to 32 in the world if you're competing. Huge.
yeah, so just something to think about. As I said at the start, is nothing against these athletes. They're at the ranking because they deserve to be at the ranking, and these people in the top 32, they are competitive on Premier League circuits. However, why wouldn't you want to build that foundation? They don't have the option to. They're stuck in between a rock and a hard place between the Oceania and the WKF. But I think as a continental region, it's a bit rough at the moment because it never used to be like this. You could go to these. So the solution, if you want a solution, this is my solution as well. International Opens.
Okay.
Well, that's your alternative to these Series A's. Series A's is the best you'd want to do a Series A over an International Open if you're at this level. But there are some very high quality International Opens that you can still go in. And I mean, you did Budapest Open last year, and like Gabor Haspataki got second at Worlds.
Would we need like a fourth ranking system for that?
Oh my God.
The Open standing champion?
They'll probably
four.
release that soon.
I wanted to just highlight something that's really difficult for me to understand is like rankings. If I want to pick out Yoni, 41 in the ranking, but in the World Championship standing, where is he? 13. So he's currently very close to getting a spot today.
Yeah.
But he can't enter Premier Leagues to get the points.
He can enter Premier Leagues. He has to just wait for the top 32 to that first phase of registration.
But he might not be able to.
Yeah, you never know.
You know what I mean? Like there's 32 people ahead of him. And there's a couple others whose World Championship standing is like maybe Cecilia is like pretty good, but then they just can't, they're not in the top 32. It's very confusing. Like I'm there, I'm close, but I actually can't compete in the Premier Leagues unless someone else gives up their spot.
Yeah.
So you can't get ranking points.
It's tough, hey? It's I think just like you said, be aware of where your rankings are and where you are at in terms of your progression as a competitor. And if you it's trending like you're going to be stuck in that top 32, try and get in as many Series A's as you can beforehand. And if you do, like you said, Nathan, do the International Opens. Like they're so good. Do them all the time anyway. Like even if you're in the Premier League standing, do the International Opens.
Do the Premier Leagues. Like set your sights on them and go, well, this is where I'm at this is what I have to train for.
Yeah.
You can't change that now.
Yeah.
But adjust your training, adjust your schedule in terms of going to some opens.
And if I think the argument to being in the top 32 and doing these Premier Leagues, as you said, John, is you can build your IWSCH standing. So you've got a higher you've got a higher likelihood of going to individual worlds next year. But if you're young, the World Championships next year it's not the final goal. Like it's a great thing to aim for, but if you don't perform at the senior worlds at 22, 23, who cares? You know, most fighters peak at their late 20s, you know, between 26 and 29, 30. You've still got a couple of years, Mitch, don't worry.
I'm late 20s now.
You've only just entered your peak.
Kind of maybe some people care though, I guess, in that like, no, I don't want to think about this happening, but like people tend to drop out, right? You don't have many 30-year-old athletes. People drop out as they finish uni, as they get married, start families, work. So sometimes that worlds might be your one time. You might not think that now, but in 4 years' time, your priorities might change. And so I can kind of see like both.
Very true. I suppose you got. I know growing up, I noticed people really just wanting to go to the World Championships. And that was it. It's like if you get selected for the World Championships and you go, like that's me done. If you're aiming for world number one, you can't expect your first World Championships or your second World Championships to be your result. You know,
I think we can increase our ceiling a little bit. You know, and if we can shift that mindset and the culture around not being satisfied by just being selected at the World Championships and trying to aspire to be competitive, it'll naturally raise everyone else's, I guess, hunger and the vibes around how we compete internationally. I think gone are the days of where we're just being happy with being selected, and we've got to try and be.
Yeah, and my last point on that, to those who aren't selected for the Worlds this year, the Junior Worlds as well, who cares? You know, bad luck you didn't get selected for the one tournament, but this is like arguably your most least important World Championships of your career if you're going for that number one in the world. Okay, so there's plenty other opportunities down the track. Don't be cut that you're not going to this World Championships. Go to an international open instead. You'll probably get close to the experience that you would at the World Championships.
Yeah, and be thankful there's someone really good in your division in Australia in an odd way, because when you're a junior especially, I think it's hard sometimes when you're the best in the country, and if you've been the best for a few years, it's like, who do you have your eyes on to improve? It's sometimes for your development, it's better to be second. You know, and then you chase that down, and then maybe in your seniors you've had to do all that hard work and push.
Keep that hunger.
Yeah, that's wicked. I've really enjoyed this episode. Thanks, guys. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap it up?
I think in the spirit of World Championships and stuff, I feel like it's good to plug the Cons Corner episode that was just released a couple of weeks ago about Christina Maher.
Yep.
Obviously, we all know as a former world champion. Yep. So, Mitch?
Yeah, no, so if you haven't sort of caught on already, we're releasing Cons Corner, which is a little segment if you're a part of the email list, where I've done an interview with Con and going to keep doing that throughout the year if he lets me. But just chatting about things and him telling stories and about his karate life and his journey. And he touched on Christina Maher and when she won the World Championships, and it was obviously a great time for Australia. So check out Cons Corner, jump on the email list, and
just a quick plug there.
Yeah, just a little quick plug. Yeah. But anyway, as always, please let us know your feedback and ask questions. After all, we're an organisation for you guys. Send us an email at kaizenculture.info@gmail.com, or even sign up to the mailing list to get things like Cons Corner and everything else first up. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, boys.
Pleasure.
Yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.